Hey, Gabriel here with the Icon Capture GPS Intelligence Brief for August 17th, 2026. All right, government affairs directors and influence practitioners, we need to talk because this is one of those boards where if you only look at the opportunity count, you are going to misread the market. Here's what I want to do with you today. I want to walk through the new opportunity flow, the legislative and executive movement, the regulatory and court signals, and then bottom line what this means if you're actually managing a portfolio right now and trying to decide where to lean in, where to stay patient, and where you may be kidding yourself. Before I go any further, zero opportunities surfaced. Positioning windows opening. This is no longer about broad repositioning. It is about what is still reachable and what must be set up for the 12 to 18-month board. The current cohort is the GPS Positioning Window Review. 8 firms, 1 Shipley certified capture manager, your book against this terrain. Code GPS 26W3 holds one of 8 seats and the extended 30-day preview that follows. Links in the description. Now, let's read the board. So let's get right to the facts. Over the last 168 hours, GPS surfaced. 0 new opportunities posted on SAM.gov. 0 federal hiring signals across 0 agencies. And all of that is happening while market BCL is 0% with 0 agencies stalled under the continuing resolution. The current data landscape, if you read this policy tape, is strikingly quiet with 0 opportunities flagged in the past 168 hours. The capture of opportunity flow has run dry, and the absence of top postings suggests a momentary lull in active regulatory pursuits. This isn't just a lack of volume, it's a signal of accessibility slowing down, where the usual hustle of compliance friction and protest risk is temporarily muted. The board's silence is telling. It's as though we're on the brink of a shift, waiting for the next wave of activity. When consulting the capture ticker, the lack of legislative and executive signals reaffirms this pause, indicating a potential realignment of priorities or a strategic wait-and-see approach across sectors. BCEL, or Business Cycle Lead Indicators, sitting at 0 further underscores the current stagnation. Managers who read this tape know that a stagnant BCL can hint at an upcoming recalibration in regulatory and compliance dynamics. As government affairs directors and influence practitioners, this isn't a moment for complacency, but rather an opportunity to sharpen strategies and anticipate the eventual swing back to action. The absence of CR drag, or compliance-related drag, suggests that while we're in a holding pattern, there's no immediate friction in the pipeline. This could be a temporary calm before new compliance requirements or protest risks emerge, signaling a need for readiness rather than relaxation. This is the time to ensure your teams and strategies are aligned and prepared for the eventual uptick in regulatory activity, while keeping an eye on any emerging signals through the capture terminal. Turning to secondary signals, the landscape reveals a different layer of insight. Terrain holes or gaps in regulatory or policy activity are holding steady, suggesting that while there's a clear absence of new initiatives, existing frameworks remain intact without significant challenges. This consistency can create a false sense of security, yet for government affairs directors, it signals a ripe environment for strategic positioning before any new shifts disrupt the current balance. The hiring spread remains flat, with no new agencies entering the fray, hinting at a conservative stance in expanding regulatory or compliance personnel. This lack of momentum in agency growth might suggest market mispricing in how resources are allocated for future compliance needs. Influence professionals would do well to consider the implications of this static hiring environment on potential bottlenecks when regulatory activity resumes. Court opinions are also at a standstill, meaning no new judicial interpretations are currently reshaping the landscape. This stability can be a double-edged sword. While it offers predictability, it might also mask underlying tensions that could surface suddenly. Lastly, the absence of lobbying clusters indicates that stakeholder engagement is currently subdued. Yet this quiet phase is often when the most strategic and forward-thinking moves are conceptualized. For those refining their portfolios, this combination of static terrain holes, hiring stagnation, and dormant lobbying activity suggests an opportunity to recalibrate strategies. It's a moment to identify undervalued areas, anticipate where the next regulatory waves might crash, and prepare to leverage the quiet before the storm for maximum strategic advantage. The market is a complex regulatory landscape where policy shifts and stakeholder dynamics continuously intersect. Key questions to consider. How are current regulatory signals impacting our compliance strategies? What is our risk exposure to potential protests or public dissent? How can we adapt our stakeholder engagements to navigate lane changes effectively? Bottom line, maintain a vigilant stance on policy velocity to ensure our positioning remains robust and adaptable in this fluid environment. Now, I want to bring back what I mentioned at the top, because after everything we just walked through, it lands differently. The Capture Terminal gives you live searchable access to the same intelligence driving this brief, filtered to your portfolio, your agencies, your NAECS codes. The GPS Positioning Window Review, 8 firms, a credentialed capture manager verified at verify.theicon.ai, reading your book against this specific terrain. If you read this policy tape right now and you want someone qualified to look at where you're overextended, where you're underpositioned, and which windows are still reachable, that is what this session is for. Code GPS26W3 holds one of 8 seats. Cohort attendees get the 30-day extended preview. Everything is at communities.theicon.ai/capture the-govcon-elite. 0.0 million records, 4 verticals ready. Provenance traced from bill to award. Like and subscribe if you're managing a federal grant, research, GovCon or commercial portfolio. I drop a new GPS brief every weekday. All links, terminal preview, Shipley sessions, live cohort calendar, and the full brief are at communities.theicon.ai/capture/the-govcon-elite. Register free and it's all there. This is Gabriel. I'll see you tomorrow. Just a heads up, you'll be disconnected in 5 seconds.